Hi everyone, welcome back to the engineering major review series. This is Miles Jones. I could tell you a lot about Miles Jones. We spent a ton of time freshman year together, but I think I'll let him tell you about himself.
Yeah, so I'm Miles. This is my senior year, but I'm planning on 5 years because of co-oping. I kind of went into environmental engineering in the beginning, because like I wanted to do problem solving, and I figured that environmental engineering would be something that will allow me to problem solve while also looking into a lot of issues that we have to deal with in like modern society in terms of like climate change, as well as like all the like energy issues that we're dealing with, as well as like a population that's constantly like growing. So I wanted to get in to the ground floor and be able to do what I can to help the future of this world. So that's why I really got into environmental engineering, because my family was kind of always like, yeah, like engineering's good. Like you learn how to think as a problem solver rather than and like within interpersonal relationships. But I was like, I'll be able to do that just by like interacting with my friends and stuff, and in real like just like in my free time. So that's why I went into environmental engineering. And like it's been good. It's definitely been a rocky road though, like dealing with COVID and like constantly moving around for my co-op, where it's like, all right, you're here for like 4 or 5 months at a time, and you have to try to like rebuild friendships over those shorter stints. So it's been an interesting few years.
All right, well, I will start from the beginning. I'm sure you remember freshman year. 10, 20, 14, 10, all the chem classes. Tell me about just a little about, what you liked freshman year, what you didn't like, sort of anything that year that might have pushed you towards your major or informed you about other majors.
Yeah. So, well, I would say it didn't necessarily push me towards my major, but it let me know what I didn't really want to do. Because I remember sitting in chemistry class and being able to just barely be keeping my eyes awake. I was definitely struggling through there. Um, and in high school, like I didn't really take a lot of math classes. Like I was always doing like history and like English and like things more along like that, like comprehension type learning um rather than trying to learn like formulas and like math and all of that stuff. I didn't really do any of that. So it was definitely a change up whenever I came to college, and I was like, you know what, let's just do this engineering thing, because like my parents were like, this will be a good idea to do. So you'll get a job out of college and like that whole thing going on. So whenever I was taking the like freshman engineering courses, it was definitely a bit of an adjustment period. And like right as soon as I was starting to like understand like where we were conceptually, then that's when COVID hit, and then it was like, all right, all online, everybody head home. Like so, there was another second learning curve where it's like, all right, you learn how to do things remotely and like learn how to micromanage your time a little bit differently. And I feel like that's more so the issue I was coming across was learning how to micromanage your time.
Yeah, for sure, freshman and into sort of sophomore year was, and I think it's still true today. It's just a test of more than anything, just learning how to manage your time, whether you're going to be able to handle engineering course loads, etc.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you went over quite a bit before, but you said was there anything post, getting into college that sort of pushed you towards environmental? Were you ever thinking that you wanted to do anything else or?
Yeah, like I mean, I had that strong push from my parents where it was like, hey, I think you should look into this engineering thing. Like, I mean, I've always liked to problem solve. So like I was like, if I go into this, it'll teach me how to do it more efficiently. So like that's why I went into engineering in general. That and like the job security of it was like definitely a huge benefit for me. Um, and then in terms of the environmental bit, I was looking at it and I was like, well, I don't really want to do mechanical, because at the time they were doing like statics and dynamics together, and I was like, I don't know about that. That sounds like a very good way for me to go drop a couple of D's and then like have to retake that class.
Yeah.
And then like chemical, like after my first chemo 101, I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. Something just wasn't clicking up there, so I was like, all right, can't do that. And like that kind of also cuts out like biosystems. I know that they have a lot more chemistry than environmental engineers have. And then another thing, I had a really great like environmental engineering professor. like early on that reached out to me, David Friedman, and he's now the dean of environmental engineering. But yeah, he pretty much was like, yeah, man, like let me show you all the different kinds of things we do, and I was like, okay, like I'm intrigued. So I guess I got pushed towards environmental engineering because I knew I wanted to be in engineering, um, but I just wasn't sure like what field I wanted to go down. And to be honest, like the name environmental kind of like had a positive connotation to it, so I was like, all right, like we'll give it a try, and kind of just stuck with it.
All right, just briefly, because in a few of these interviews, statics and dynamics has been brought up, namely
Mhm.
the mechanical one. But did you have to take statics?
Yeah, so I took both statics and dynamics,
Okay.
and like I guess
Separately though.
like that's just like the general like engineering course load. I feel like most, if not all. I'm not sure if industrial engineers have to,
We
but I
take
know.
statics. We don't take dynamics.
Gotcha. Okay.
But you
Yeah.
found them pretty manageable separately, yes.
Yeah, yeah, they were much more manageable, and even know that I don't even think they do them together anymore because I have a roommate that's mechanical, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm splitting them now." So I think it's a lot more manageable. Um, yeah.
Well, okay. I guess my next question would be, and I think a lot of people wonder this, I mean, about every discipline is, I mean, I kind of know what environmental engineering is, but I mean, what is it y'all really do? Are there a ton of tracks you can go down? What does it look like in the professional world from what you can tell right now? What does
Mhm.
it look like in, college? Can you just
Yeah.
tell me about that?
So that was actually something that was kind of surprising to me, because whenever I was initially going into it, I was like, "All right, we're gonna like look at solar panels, and we're gonna like learn about wind farms, and like this is what we're gonna be able to do. We're working with like renewable energies," and that really wasn't the case, which was kind of surprising to me. Um, a lot of like the environmental engineering course load that I've like had so far, which I mean I'm almost done, but it's like it focuses a lot on like water and wastewater treatment, as well as like different like ways that you can like assist the public using like municipalities um, rather than trying to like solve things like with energy. And that is one thing that I like electrical engineers do more of that stuff, and like on the like governmental and like consulting side of things, rather than like I guess tech development or like renewables that are like kind of up and coming. Um, so yeah, I'd say most of the course load is kind of directed towards like water and wastewater treatment. There's been a lot of stuff about that. Have I've taken an air pollution class, which I enjoyed. That was pretty cool. And like other than that, a lot of stuff that is at risk, and like being like, all right, let's look at this, like look at this, and then like try to like give somebody an output of like, all right, we want to try to do this, or like clean up this chemical spill, or like something like that. That usually happens. Um, in the professional field, I kind of just have experience consulting. I haven't done anything. I know that the two main tracks are like either towards the governmental side, where people go and like work with the EPA and like things like that, and then the other side of things is like consulting, where it's pretty much like people come to you with problems like environmental cleanup or water treatment or something along those lines, and then you kind of just have to kind of spit out a different answer for them, which like, to be honest, like, and, uh, seems like relatively
Sorry,
elementary to
you kind
me.
of cut out there for a
Like I feel
second.
like it's kind of like basic. Okay, where did I lose you?
I would say about 10 seconds back.
Okay, so I guess like consulting seems like to be more so you're just kind of like working with a big group of people. Um, and maybe that's because like I haven't gotten my like engineering license yet. They can't really assign me to projects. It's like you can only be like um somebody that's like there to assist. You can't like really be like heading any projects, unfortunately. Um, so
Gotcha. And you sort of talked about the tracks you can take professionally.
Mhm.
Is environmental engineering at Clemson just sort of a one straight track, or are there emphases? Like, are there tech electives? Can you go a bunch of different ways, or?
So I'd say generally with environmental engineering, there isn't like there's no like you don't have your you don't have like a specific discipline. I think it's just a general major
Okay.
in terms of environmental engineering. But I think the way that it is that way is just it's such a small field. Um, like whereas like civil engineers and like mechanical engineers, I feel like have a very broad um like I guess range of topics. Like environmental engineering is a lot more specific. And like while we like learn those topics really well, it's definitely not as broad as a couple other engineering majors. Um, so I know that pretty much the main paths are government, um, and then like academia, the three main tracks that I've like heard of.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, you're co-oping. Are you on co-op this semester? Or?
So I'll be co-oping this coming semester in the spring. Um, I co-opted last fall, and then I co-opted this past summer.
Okay, cool.
Um,
Can you tell us just a little bit about that? I don't know if you want to tell us where or what you're working on, but all that would be appreciated if you can.
yeah. So I worked with Black and Beach down in Atlanta. They're like a relatively large consulting firm. Um, Mostly what I was doing is just kind of like assisting with the engineers. Like I do file work for them. Occasionally they have like designs that I can mark up. Um, I did like a couple like slideshow presentations. I did some like trips to like water and wastewater treatment plants to like kind of see how like the operation side of things work, give me like a more on the ground like look at things. Um, I had a couple projects where it was like, hey, we're looking to put a pipeline through here. Like, can you look at the drawings and be like, give us a rough sketch of where you think that this should go? Um, did some stuff with like where they have like a couple like walk up areas where they're like, all right, we need to put something here. Can you figure out like something that would be good to go here? But most of the stuff that I did with them was kind of just like more so like learning how to think and then being like, okay, present your ideas to this person rather than being the person at the forefront of the project. Um, but I don't know. Like while I enjoy my coworkers, I feel like they're great people and like the firm's really big, which is nice. It gives you a lot of like different areas to like reach out with and like you get to like make a lot of connections and like um be able to like switch disciplines pretty easily because they have like thousands of employees, which is really nice. You can like reach out to people in different states, different countries even. So that's cool. But at the same time, I know that like as an environmental engineer, I definitely feel like they had a difficult time giving us projects. Um, because like of how like small the field is, it's like unless you have like specific discipline and you're like you can be like um I guess you can be the person that people go to about a specific topic or a master in your specific discipline. Other than that, like they were kind of like, okay, we can have you onto this project, but it was a lot of like, hey, like can you please give me something to do because like I don't know, I feel like they just don't really know what to do with an environmental engineer necessarily. And like I've heard that from like a lot of different people that do co-ops. Um, and then another thing about co-ops that like I kind of have a qualm against is like um, it's really difficult as like an environmental engineer because some classes are only offered in a spring or like in a fall course rather than like continuous throughout the year.
Gotcha.
Um,
And I'll cut in right there and I'll say, I can't, I can't speak for every major, but
mhm,
that is definitely true for some courses in industrial as well.
yeah,
That can be a problem anywhere, but that's just something you have to work around co-ops. Anyways,
absolutely. Yeah. And like that was definitely for me. I was like, dang, this is kind of weird. Like I'm now taking classes as a senior with people that are juniors and people that are even sophomores are in some of my classes because like your schedule gets so rearranged and you're just like stuck in random places and your schedule's all cattywampus and like nobody really knows what's going on.
right, right. It just gets a little confusing.
Yeah.
I guess that sort of leads me into my next question. I mean, you mentioned they don't really know what to do with you at that consulting firm since you're environmental. Does that make you think that you want to go into something more geared towards environmental?
Yeah. So I've been like looking
I
into
mean,
like
I guess my full question would be, are you thinking grad school? What are your plans going forward? I understand you got some more school left, but what are you thinking right now?
Well, honestly, the way that I'm looking at things is I'd really like to be at some sort of company similar to the one I'm at right now. I'm not sure if I want to go with them or not. I haven't really made a decision and they haven't made a decision yet. Um, but I really want to spend some time like in the field as a like I think as a consultant where I can pretty pretty much be able to utilize like their resources to just like build a strong foundation for myself. And then also there's a lot like one like benefit of having like these like larger firms and stuff is that like a lot of times they'll pay for your grad school if you want to go back and do additional schooling. Um, and then another huge benefit is so once like you graduate, everyone usually takes their like version of the engineering exam, like the fundamentals of engineering. Um, and then after like a set amount of years, you can get your professional engineer's license. And so in order to get your professional engineer license, you not only have to have multiple years as like an engineer in training, um, you also have to work under professional engineers so that they can pretty much sign off and be like, this guy actually knows what he's doing. He hasn't just BS'd his way through it, um, and pretty much certify that somebody that they would be comfortable. So that's another huge benefit, like a larger place, is that like these professional engineers scattered everywhere. Like you don't have to like have like one specific person and be like pretty much like please like I know we've only done a little bit of work together but like can you like help me out here because that kind of goes against engineering ethics and stuff like that. So having a big like area, I'd say my goal is probably to get a job with a company for a few years, be able to like potentially work my way through schooling. If not, then at least get myself a basis for my PE's license and then play things from there. I think at some point I'd like to work with the governmental sector a little bit, like working with the EPA or um, maybe go back to school and get an MBA or go into law or something like that. I'm not quite sure, but I definitely want to get the bases covered with like the PE requirements first.
Gotcha. All right, and that brings me to my final question, which is, uh, I mean, it's really hard to know, and I ask this question to everybody, but do you feel like you chose the right major for you? Do you have any regrets going back?
You know, I don't have regrets going back, but I definitely don't think I chose necessarily the right major for myself. I kind of like got started off and was doing it, and I was like, well, this is like manageable. Like I can deal with this. Rather than being like, I'm super excited to go do this. Like I'm stoked to get out here and do some environmental engineering. You know, like that was
Yeah, right.
not never really, like my way of looking into it. Um, and so I don't know. I think I maybe would have appreciated more like a field that like has more I guess applicability to like my own life. Like I have like friends that are like doing things like physical therapy and I'm like, wow, it will like I'll like make sure I don't get hurt or like um I don't know, maybe like going into a field where it's like I could have more applicability to my life and like shoot, even like mechanical engineers, I'm sure like get a little bit of like, okay, let's look at the way that these like gears are going together to make this. And I think it'd be kind of be have like something that could turn into a hobby that's related to my field, but like
Uh-oh. I think I might have lost you again, Miles. Hold on, I'm gonna pause the recording. All right, everyone. Sorry, we were interrupted by some connection issues. But I'd ask you about whether you thought you chose the right major. You said maybe some other things might be interesting.
yeah. So I guess like the thing is like since it is such a small and like niche field, I definitely feel like I could have gotten something that's a little bit more like broad that I would have enjoyed a little bit more. And then also like real life applicability. Like I feel like it'd be kind of nice to have like something that I could use in my personal life because like while I'm gonna use this like for a professional job and to be able to like hopefully make a good career out of it, like um it's definitely like there's not really like integration, like using your knowledge about water and wastewater systems for your personal life. Like that's just like not something you really deal with at all. Um, so I think it would have been cool to do something that was like that would I would be used like in my personal life. So yeah, I don't regret doing it. Because like it's still been a great major. Like I still enjoy it, but at the same time, it's like yeah,
Well, I got you. I would say to that, I mean, you've been saying, or not, you've been saying, you've been co-oping at a consulting firm. Once you get into
mm,
a consulting firm, it's like you said, it's such a big company, you can go anywhere. I'm not sure you've really pinholed yourself as much as you, or pigeonholed yourself as much as you are, think you have, but who knows?
yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited. Like, it'll be nice to get back to Atlanta and like kind of get back in the flow of things with that. It's just kind of weird, you know. Like, also only being there for like 3, 4 months at a time, like, kind of makes it so you can't really get super involved. It's like you can be in the back seat, but like you can't be driving. Like,
Right, 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 right. All right, well, I got you. I really appreciate you doing the interview
yeah,
and
man.
the co-op.
All right, man. Thanks, man. I wish you the best of luck with your creative inquiry, man.
Thank you.